Right, I have a speech. It has one basic argument. It is disappointingly light on jokes, and it contains something against quite considerable odds that sounds like hope. Bear with me. I did try to write something simple and uplifting, but it read like a LinkedIn post written by someone between jobs having a Nervo. So you're getting this instead. Today is meaningful, and let me tell you why. There's this thing, noise, not volume. We've always been loud. Well, I have. I mean noise in the technical sense. Everything that gets in the way of the signal. The interference, the static, the jitter of undifferentiated nonsense that is, at first, maybe useful, and then at a certain tipping point makes it harder to hear the thing that matters, the thing that means something. And by that measure of interference, distortion, the steady degradation of meaning, it feels like we're living through a noise crisis of absurd proportions. Foundational thinking and societal cohesion buried under a ballroom of absolute bollocks. Too terminally online, too hypnotized by ourselves, conveniently picking on each other instead of contending with actual monsters, while a certain few watching on conclude with the serene confidence of excessive wealth that the future belongs to them. And into this, more immediately and ruthlessly, certainly for us, comes generative AI with its eerily plausible output, pumping out infinite, sour, metallic facsimiles of feeling in a staggering dilution of everything meaningful. But what's really concerning is not really the noise itself. That has and always will exist. It's what it does to us, because it seems to me we are lonelier and more divided than we've ever been, more connected by every corporate metric, but more alone by every measure that matters. And I don't think that's a coincidence. When the signal degrades, when meaning and nuance become too hard to locate, our link is broken. When you don't know what's real, you can easily lose your grip, your place, or each other. Music that belongs to no one and nowhere imparts no sense of belonging. Culture dies, if that's what we want. You are meant to feel small, they are large, scale wins. The game is fixed, and the outcome inevitable. The only sensible response is to give in, and the truth is that tired, defeated, nothing I do it makes any fucking difference response is completely rational, given the facts. Millions of streams, maxed out credit cards. I genuinely once spent 20 minutes explaining the economics of streaming to a government minister using a pizza as a visual aid, but he ate the pizza before I finished the metaphor. Not kidding. Giving in makes sense, but isn't that the intention? A songwriter who fully accepts that nothing matters doesn't write songs, never mind meaningful ones, and they certainly don't organize. Nihilism is the system working perfectly, because in signal-to-noise terms, they don't need to silence you. They just need to bury you, make you feel so scattered, so irrelevant, that any meaningful sound you might make cannot be sieved from the flood. And then they take your back catalogue, feed it into a machine, and carry on without you. But this is where hope arrives, or at least she pops her head around the door tentatively with her coat on, claiming she can stay for a drink. What's valuable, what brings us together, is creativity, the specific, unrepeatable, deeply personal act of someone taking their understanding of being alive and turning it into something another person can feel. When it cuts through the noise, when it reaches us, when it unlocks something, we breathe easier. We feel less alone when we are understood. We belong. And when we find a new understanding of ourselves, when the thrumming amygdala settles, we feel less pain. That is not a small thing. That is the whole thing. What their nonsense cannot do. You are human enough to know it may not work or ever be heard, but bothered enough to sit and not let go until you find the form that expresses what must be said. That's every songwriter, every composer, every person in this room who's written a single bar of something that found and moved another human being. Your music makes people feel less alone in a world that is working very hard to ensure they feel nothing else. Without wishing to sound grandiose, that makes what you do at this moment in history more necessary than it's ever been. Also, why community and organization matter more than ever. And here, Hope decides she's staying, or at least has stopped checking when the last train home might be. Nihilism be damned. Nothing is inevitable, and you are not small. Together, certainly not. Labels have forgiven historic debts. Songwriter per diems were negotiated for the first time this past year. Small, real, and ours. A basic income for artists is now a fixture in the Republic of Ireland and being tested in Scotland. Our government is beginning to understand that AI regulation, albeit with the enthusiasm of someone parallel parking for the first time, might be necessary. These things only happen because people who believe their message don't give in and stick around long enough for it to be received. Join our academy, show up to the meetings, counter the noise in every sense. Together. Yes. Today, thank you. Today is not just a party. I mean, it is a party, and a very good one, and I fucking insist you enjoy it. But it contains something more significant. Every nomination and award in this room today is an act of attribution, a public named witness declaration that these specific human beings, not a platform or an algorithm, not a catalogue owned by a private equity firm, made these noteworthy, gorgeous, brilliant things. That it came from someone and it belongs to someone. They can be identified, credited, paid, celebrated, in a world being deliberately engineered to make that feel optional, where content arrives from nowhere, average from the work of 10,000 people who will see nothing from it, their names scraped away. The act of standing up in public and saying, this person made this, ceases to be purely ceremonial. It becomes structural. In signal to noise terms, it's a deliberate act of amplification. It is our community insisting, collectively, loudly, and in our party clothes, that the source of the song has a name and a face, and they are most certainly not alone. Collectively, they will be recognized and protected while this academy stands. Today is meaningful. This safe space of ours is 80-something years old. We are a family built on self-expression, still listening and learning from each other with kindness, respect, and curiosity. We have outlasted every technology, every consolidation, and every generation of people in expensive buildings who selectively ignore that most of the people making the stuff can't make rent. We are still here because music makers keep doing the one thing their empty noise, by definition, can never do. We fucking mean it.